I really think the marketing of this film was some kind of double agent op or some kind of psyop, because I feel like the marketing was just to undersell the film with the stupid humor, the stupid, unstoic, uncharacteristic Superman clips that we've seen all the time, in order to get people to go in there, because they know people are going to go watch it anyway because they're curious about it, and just to have this low expectation, so then the film just seems way more epic than it is, because I swear down, the clips did not do justice for me. And it's interesting, I've watched a few more reviews, and it's really interesting how a lot of people didn't like this. Some people I really trust didn't like this, and there's other people that are like this. It's really mixed. This is one of the most mixed films I've seen. I'm surprised I like it so much, considering the people that I watch and most of the people that I like don't seem to like it. But I like it. I think my expectations were so low, but it surprised me. What is going on YouTube? DoubleO here, and I had a very different plan for this review because I thought I was going to hate this movie. So I had this whole thing I was going to do of explaining what was wrong and all this kind of stuff, because the trailers convinced me. Like, here, look.
Superman.
Hey! Quit messing around!
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
The trailers and the clips are there to advertise what this movie is going to be about, what it's going to feel like, and what you should expect. And they failed, because what the trailers and the clips, except for the first trailer, I really liked the first trailer, what the trailers and the clips told me was that this film was going to be annoying, overly humorous, slapstick comedy, with a Gen Z annoying, whiny Superman that has no stoicism, that cares more about his dog than anything else. He cares more about screaming and breaking desks with his dog and screaming at his girlfriend because she's pushing him a little bit with her questions and stuff like that. I thought this movie was going to be stupid, but I was wrong. The movie was good, and James Gunn or DC, someone up there needs to fire all of their marketing team, or maybe James Gunn himself needs to stay away from marketing. I don't know who's in charge of marketing there, but they really sold something very different, because the film was really good. I enjoyed it. Obviously it's not perfect, it wasn't like out of this world. I think like Avengers movies was better, though it was better than a lot of the more recent Marvel films, and I think that's a credit to how great the cast was. David Cornsweet was a really good Superman in terms of how he looks and stuff. He's like, I think that's so important. I've heard some other reviewers say the same thing about he has that Superman look and he kind of feels like him at times. His acting is good. Rachel Brosnan was a great Lois Lane. Again, she looks like Lois Lane and she looks good in general, if you know what I mean. So like, it was never an issue to see like Rachel Brosnan be Lois Lane in that film, because she did a good job. She looked the part. Jimmy Olsen was good. Like all this, Mr. Terrific was really good. Like he kind of stole the show a little bit for me at times. You know, I really liked him. And I know some people have said he sounds like a stereotype of a, you know, blaxploitation black man, and I almost kind of feel like that was the point, because this film had a very 1960s, 70s, 80s vibe about it. You can tell by just the way it started, even the little screen that tells you the certification of the film, like the age or rating and all that, PGU, whatever. It had like this weird drawing of Superman on it, rather than just the black screen that it normally has, or whatever screen it normally has. And I was like, oh, we're getting this. And it had like the logo, the DC logo of Superman, the classic cartoon Superman, breaking the chains and everything, showing his chest and all that. And I was like, oh, we're going like proper classic Superman, like before Christopher Reeve and all that shit, you know? So it had this kind of weird retro future vibe. Well, maybe I should call it retro present, because people were using their phones and stuff like that. But the way people were talking and golly gee and all this kind of stuff, the way Superman said certain words, there was a very wholesome-y 1960s vibe to it, but with a modern day aesthetic. It was kind of weird. It was definitely felt a bit parallel universe-y, but I kind of liked that though. It felt otherworldly in a good way, but it still felt like our world at the same time. So it kind of helped with some of the silliness, the believability of some of the things that happened, made it easier to suspend your disbelief. So yeah, the cast was great, and because we had an accurate cast, I think that definitely helps. I mean, obviously Perry White is kind of Perry Black in this, but I've always said my rule, and it's just personal to me, my rule for race swapping is, are they iconic? Are you doing it for some kind of annoying agenda or some kind of annoying reason or whatever? If they're not iconic and you're not doing it for some stupid ass reason, which Perry White could have been a bad reason, but whatever, and the person that is your race swapping, the actor that's playing the role, can they make that character their own? It's not going to be distracting them playing that character. And obviously the guy playing Perry White, it's not distracting at all. He's already been race swapped with Lawrence Fishburne and stuff like that, but like Perry White, I don't think he's nowhere near as big as, well, maybe he used to be, but not anymore. He's nowhere near as big as J. Jonah Jameson. Like, I feel like you can't race swap J. Jonah Jameson. He's got to be a white dude with a moustache and a flat top. I know he was bald in Spider-Man, but you know. Anyway, so Perry White being race swapped is not a big deal at all. You can race swap some certain background characters, not iconic leads characters. You can't do that. It just doesn't work. But anyway, so yeah, the cast looks like the cast, and that was great, and I loved that. The plot was interesting. There was some sort of real world political stuff. I saw a little bit of Critical Drinkers review, and he said there was no politics in there, basically saying it's not woke or whatnot, but like there was kind of politics in this, but it was used like how politics is supposed to be used to tell us a story. The politics was something we can relate to in real life, but it was to help tell the story rather than to just focus on what the political issue is. Because if it was, Superman would have gone to John Rapport, whatever that place is, spoilers by the way, and then the whole ending would have been all about defeating that guy that's obviously like a Putin / Netanyahu copy. I don't know, he feels like a Putin or a Netanyahu, I don't know. That president of John Rapport, I don't know what the country's called or whatever. So I can't remember what the country's names, they're all made up names, I'm pretty sure, but yeah. So there was some political stuff there, and I kind of liked how we could relate to it. You could either say it was Ukraine and Russia or Israel and Palestine or something like that. You could easily put those countries there, or any other country that's had conflict, but it was used very well with Lex Luthor, especially at the end when he gives the reveal that I guess I'm spoiling it. He gives the reveal that he used that war to get to Superman rather than he used Superman to get to the war or something. That's what, like, you realize everything was all about Superman in the end. It wasn't about those countries and the conflict. That's how you do politics. That's how you do politics right. And James Gunn did that. And James Gunn's, if you notice something about all his films, the Guardians films, as silly as they are, he never has that weird overlay of like annoying, pretentious Hollywood pseudo political agenda going on, you know. He just has him trying to tell whatever story he's trying to tell. Sometimes it goes a little bit too far into the humor and things like that, and has his James Gunnisms, you know, that kind of overdo it a little bit. He overdoes stuff a little bit, but I can appreciate that he's trying to tell a decent story. Yeah, the plot was really good. I don't go into too much detail about that, maybe a bit later in the review. Yeah, so the things I didn't like was the humor was a bit annoying in some places, you know, as you do, but it was never that overbearing. Like, it's nowhere near as overly humorous as the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It wasn't too in your face sometimes. I mean, like, for example, the garage door going up slowly, you don't need stuff like that. I mean, it got chuckles out of the audience, but like, it's just silly. It's not funny. There are some things that gave me a good laugh though. Some moments gave me a laugh that I don't know if they're intentional or not. The title of this video was "The Marketing Team Did This Movie Dirty," because every single scene that I saw, Crypto jumping on Superman's back, him yelling at Lex, where's the dog, him yelling at Lois Lane, I was trying to stop people from dying, like all the lack of stoicism, the overly emotional moments, what the hey dude, all those things felt so much more natural when you watch the whole thing, you know, watch the whole movie. They were so stupid watching them separately on their own. There was so much better clips they could have used to sell this film. I don't know why they chose those terrible clips of this forced humor and stuff that made me not even want to bring like my partner and my sisters or whatever to go see this, because I used to always want to try and get them to go see these kind of movies with me. I didn't even want to see this. I just kind of wanted to see it because I know everyone's talking about it, and I wanted to do a review on it and give my opinions on what the issue is with the film. I was kind of like dreading it, like, I can't believe I'm even doing this. I ain't even making videos that much. but it surprised me, and I blame the marketing for making me think this film is going to be trash, because I loved it. Like, the tone of this film felt more like the initial first trailer. Yes, there's the bits where crypto's jumping and all that. Maybe because I've seen the clips so many times, I got used to it. But with the full context, it's not that bad, you know, all the crazy stuff that happens in those horrible clips. But yeah, those clips did not sell the film well for me at all, you know, because the film is actually pretty good. You know, I'll give it a thumbs up. It was better than a lot of films I've seen. I think it was better than Thunderbolts. I think I enjoyed it better than F1. I've seen F1. F1 was a bit like draggy in places, but yeah, I think it was better than I think it might be one of the better films I've seen this year, actually. The only issues I had, obviously, it was quite bloated with all the crazy pocket universe stuff, and that was a bit mad, and there was could be some plot holes there, you know, like you have to kind of switch your brain off for a lot of that stuff, and it was a bit cartoony because of it. Some of that was a bit over the top, but because the themes and the characters and this plot actually was so compelling, you kind of let all that hyper science fiction over the top stuff go. You kind of just accepted it because the characters and the themes are so strong. Corn Sweat did a great job as Superman. I think he was a bit cheesy. There was some over the top moments where he was like trying to save a squirrel, and it was a bit on the nose. I liked the part where he was, you know, with the Justice team, or whatever they're called, the Justice guys. I can't remember what name they had. Justice dude, some stupid name anyway. He was fighting that kaiju monster thing, and he was busy trying to save the girl and save the squirrel and all that stuff. And I think that was just a bit on the nose. It was almost like a diss to Snyder fans and the Snyder Superman that just lets everything get destroyed and people die all around him. And this Superman's more focused on saving as many people as he can. And while the Justice, they even use the Justice guys to show how careless they are, and how Superman's different from them because he's trying to save everyone, which I thought was a good concept, but it was on the nose with saving the squirrel. I was like, come on, man. A squirrel. It's just, I mean, I guess it's like when Superman sees something in danger, he's got to save it, which is wholesome and good, but it's just like, it was just on the nose. It was just felt a bit forced at that bit. The girl was enough. The girl, saving the girl in all slow motion, that was enough, you know. And there was parts where, like, towards the final battle, where he's whooping the arse of all of Lex's like flying drone men or whatever, and then it just kind of goes and it just zooms into his Superman chest, and I was like, all right, that's a bit like, come on, it's a bit indulgent, you know. That wasn't necessary. I was already loving the whole fight scene. I was like, this is epic, the music's epic. And then when it was like, I know I'm supposed to be feeling like this is epic, and the music telling me this is epic, and I do feel this is epic, and then it overdid it with the flipping zoom into the chest, like, look, this is Superman. I was like, all right, I get it, it's Superman. That was a bit much, but yeah, there was moments like that where they overdid it with the music. Like they overdid it at times. They should save those so it'd feel more special and epic when they use it. Yeah, Rachel Brosnan as Lois Lane she was really good, gorgeous, nice to look at, and I was like, yeah, I see why Clark likes her, you know what I mean? And also her character was really cool. Like they had the little debate in the apartment. I liked that bit. There was a lot of exposition done well there, you know, like you found out that they've been dating for like 3 months or something, but he's been Superman for 3 years, so she must have just recently found out he was Superman. It was a good moment to kind of get to know the characters there, while also, you know, putting some pressure on Clark Superman about what's going on in the story and everything like that. And seeing it all in context like that, him crashing out, going, I was trying to stop people from dying, that I didn't like in the clips. It didn't seem as annoying, but it still fell out of character for him to be that, you know, to crash out over some pressure like that. He can get angry, he can have a stern voice, but the way he's screaming and like getting frustrated was a bit much. Again, to talk about the crypto part, where's the dog? It makes sense now because we find out that the dog's not actually his dog. It's spoilers, the dog is Supergirl's dog, which is played by Millie Alcock. That's why he calls it the dog. I don't think he even really likes Crypto, he just wants to protect him. That's it. There was so much more about that scene. It's not just about the dog, even though they kind of made it. I don't know if James Gunn intended this, but the way I read it was Superman just got outed that his big spoilers, massive spoilers. Superman just got outed that his parents sent him there to basically take over the whole Earth, Dragon Ball Z shit. He was basically Goku, you know? He was sent to take over the entire Earth and kill everyone, or not kill everyone, but enslave everybody. And everybody found that out and immediately turned on him, which is a bit silly. Like, it was like happened in 2 seconds flat. I mean, I know people are like that in real life. Maybe that was the point, maybe that was the theme there, but it was just so like within 2 seconds, everyone turned on Superman and hated his guts. And I kind of get the allegory for social media with that, but I don't know if if you needed to do it that quickly, because it kind of throws you off a little bit. But yeah, everyone turned against him almost immediately, and I think he was going through a lot then. He knew Lex was manipulating things, going through the Fortress of Solitude, killed all his, Superman bots. Still a stupid name. Lex did a lot of damage to him at all that point, and then the dog was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So yeah, the dialogue maybe shouldn't have focused so much on that, but that's probably why he was angry. The dog was just at the last straw. So with that context, that scene is a bit better because he's so angry about everything that's just been piling on him at the time. But I don't know, man, it's still over the top. This is what happens when you show these scenes out of context like this, and so many people are criticized, even How It Should Have Ended made the funny animation video showing with Batman saying, why didn't you just fly through the window, and why are you going through the door, why'd you go up the elevator, and all this kind of. He didn't go through the elevator, he flew up and smashed through the side entrance to get to Lex, not through that window. So all the questions a lot of people had was explained when you watch the film in full context. And maybe this is justifying some of the James Gunn fanboys that were like, oh, you gotta watch the whole film. You can't judge it on clips. You gotta watch the whole film. They're right on that part, but they're also wrong, because you do get to judge the whole film on clips, because they are releasing those clips, they are releasing those trailers to advertise what the film is going to be like. So we can only go off those. And then if you're not releasing something good or something that's going to draw you in, regardless of the context, then the issue's on the market. And that's why I say the marketing department for this film needs to get dunzo. They need to get kicked out or something, because they definitely misrepresented some of the good stuff that's in this film, Anyway, so yeah, I was talking about Lois. So Lois, she was really done well. She wasn't girl bossy or anything like that. She helped Superman. She was present. I love how James managed to give everybody something to do. Now I know in Critical Drinkers review he was kind of saying that it was too many characters, it's bloated, but no, he used all of the characters very well. Like the Justice guys, their purpose was solved. Guy Gardner I felt his presence in this film, but he didn't have that much screen time, but everything he did mattered, like how he came to help in the war at the end with the middle finger Green Lantern things that he was making, how he got his personality out immediately, the cockiness. Even Hawk Girl was fun. Like, I loved how they showed her getting inspired by Superman. Even the kind of visceral screaming she was doing when she took out the Netanyahu / Putin allegory, I guess you could call him. I liked all that part. Mr. Terrific again was terrific. Like, he was really good. He got the most screen time out of the Justice guys or whatever, and he was really well written. Everybody did the Metamorpho, all his moments with his baby weird animal. That bit felt very Guardians of the Galaxy, of the weird alien creatures and stuff in Lex's other dimensional prison thing that he had. But like, yeah, Metamorpho was like good. It threw me. It's such a James Gunn thing. As soon as Metamorpho spoke, I was like, what the fuck? Because he was sitting there, didn't speak for ages, and Lex was introduced to him like, this is a Metamorpho, whatever he's called him, and he said he can manipulate elements into kryptonite or whatever he said. He was like using the kryptonite hand that he made to fuck up Superman, and then he spoke and said, you can save my son. I was like, what the fuck is this voice? I was expecting Metamorpho to be like, so you can say, I don't know, maybe it's cliche, and it is kind of cliche, but in James Gunn movies it's cliche for these scary alien monsters to have these weird, guy at Starbucks voices. It's just funny to me, and it's just, I can look past it, and I guess that in real life not every person's gonna have a deep scary voice that doesn't look human, but it's just silly, but I guess James Gunn makes it work. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent there. But Metamorpho, yeah, he had a good arc. The way he helps Superman, he's not even a major character. He ended up joining the Justice team because he liked Guy Gardner's name for them, even though I can't remember it. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen had a little bit of thing going on. Like, at first I thought they were trying to make him gay or something, because he had all these gorgeous women that were interested in him, and he just didn't seem interested. And this one girl, Lex Luthor's, I told you I'm spoiling all of this. Lex Luthor's girl, or one of his women or whatever, was into him, and she was also like two-timing Lex with him, with Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen's a playboy. I think he's got the whole Podrick thing from Game of Thrones. If you know about Podrick and his special abilities, I think that's probably what's going on. I'm not going to go into it, but I think that's what's probably going on with Jimmy Olsen there. But he's not interested in her for whatever reason. Lois even thinks she's hot as hell, and Lois said, "How'd you do it, Jimmy?" So I don't know what's going on with Jimmy. He could still be, maybe they're trying to say he's gay, but that'll be just, why are you going to turn Jimmy Olsen gay? I don't know. People won't like that. But anyway, Jimmy had a little arc. He was, all the journalists, Perry was probably had the least to do, to be honest. It wasn't really needed that much, but he was there. So yeah, Jimmy, Lois, and even some of the other journalist characters had a little to do there. So James Gunn is very good at using an ensemble cast. He's very good at it, man. And it's still making the focus about Superman. It still felt like it was Superman's film. It definitely detracted from him a bit, but sometimes it's good to be away from the main character like that, so it's a bit more impactful when he turns up. Now, Lex's minions, I can't remember her name, is Engineer, whatever her name is. She was alright, I guess. I guess she's probably one of the weaker roles. She's kind of just like a sub-boss villain. She's just kind of there. But what they did to him when they were trying to fill his lungs up with all the shit and fuck him up, that was wild. Yeah, that was probably one of the best moments for her, I guess. But she lost that fight, though, in the end. I don't really understand what happened there. If you want to tell me in the comments, he went up to the sun, and I guess that gave him more energy to be able to spit it back out. I thought something a bit cooler was going to happen there. So that even though that was a cool concept, how Superman got out of that didn't really make sense to me. He just decides to go close to the sun and he can spit it back out when he drops down, I guess. Or maybe he just wanted to drop down from really high and mess them up, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. And then we found out Ultraman. We all knew Ultraman was going to be like a Superman clone, but how much of a part of you did you hope that he's going to take the mask off and it'd be Henry Cavill under there? That would have been so cool. And I know obviously Henry Cavill and David Cornsweet do look very similar, but obviously they don't look like spitting image of each other, and that will defeat the purpose of what a clone is. But you could have Lex say something like, "I tried to clone you, Superman, but I don't think it worked out. I think I made something even better than you," or something. You could have said something along those lines to explain why they look slightly different, because Henry Cavill, as much as he looks like Cornsweet, obviously it doesn't look exactly like him, so you've got to explain that. But if you wanted Henry Cavill's Ultraman, because that would have been a really cool, fun, gimmicky but fun reveal, and it would have been a nice little, it probably would have tamed the Snyder fans a little bit more, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, obviously it makes more sense to him to be an exact replica of Superman. I don't know if Ultraman's going to later transform into Bizarro later, because he's been affected by the dimension he's been thrown in or whatnot. But yeah, he got thrown in another dimension. But Ultraman was pretty cool. That fight was really good. I kind of want to watch the film again, because there's some really cool action moments as well, like Superman using Ultraman's spin and knocking all the things out of the air. Even the Crypto had some things to do by taking out Lex's. That was a really clever way to take out Lex drone cameras and stuff. There was some really good shit in this film, man. I liked it. Lex Luthor. I thought Nicholas Hoult did a fantastic job as Lex Luthor, and yeah, he was menacing. You could feel his visceral hate for Superman. All the reveals that everything he was doing was just all about Superman was really good. And one of the turning points in the movie for me was when I thought, okay, this isn't just some jokey, stupid, take the piss film. James Gunn is just all about the humor. Is when he was playing Russian roulette with the Asian dude or Indian dude. All he did was help Superman, and he just plays Russian roulette with him and he shoots him, and they broke the trope of playing Russian roulette in the movie and it never gets to the bullet, or something happens before it gets to the bullet. No, the second bullet, bang, shot him dead. Crazy. And I think someone gasped in the audience, because it was so insane to see Lex Luthor personally kill someone like that. That moment in the movie was what told me that, okay, this is a good film. Because it was just nice to see some stakes like that and see Superman see that in person and see him have to overcome something that Lex did like to that level. You don't see that. I mean, there was a nameless character. If it was Lois, it would be a very different story. It was a nameless character, but the guy was so innocent. It was just an innocent man that had barely any connection to Superman, and just watching Lex kill him like that was dark, and that made me feel like it's way more serious than anything the MCU has done in years. You know, way more serious. Yeah. Crypto was okay. I know a lot of people are saying they don't really like Crypto, but he's all right. It's just okay, you know. He was definitely a big focus, kind of, but not so much that he's distracting from the main plot of the story, you know. I think the film could have been way more deeper and better. Films can always be better, but I think it was fun, it was entertaining, and it had some good moments. Like there was some with Ma and Pa Kent, that was really good. Before I end this review, I've got to talk about that. I'm not sure about their casting. I mean, they got the most humdiggity, southern-looking, old and fat people to be Ma and Pa Kent. I think that was intentional because the contrast of making Ma and Pa Kent these unfit, old versus the gorgeous model-like Bradley Cooper and that other chick. I think she was in Westworld or something, but Superman's biological parents, how beautiful they were, but it turns out they're like kind of evil, whereas Ma and Pa Kent are amazing. And it's kind of like that whole throwing that Disney trope on its head, where everybody that's beautiful are good, everyone that's evil are ugly, you know. That was really good speech that Pa Kent gave Superman about it doesn't matter what your parents believed, you know, it's about what you want to do, about what choices you make is what makes you, you know, you or whatever. I thought that was really good and heartfelt, and I loved the ending where they call back to when Superman likes to see his parents because it makes it easier for him to, you know, go through the healing process or whatever. And they showed, you know, Bradley Cooper and that woman saying, go back to Earth and save everybody, but that's not the full message. And then later, you think you're going to see that same thing again. You're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But then it's actually videos of Ma and Pa Kent, and I thought that was an amazing ending. That was great because it was like, it's showing you that sometimes it's not about blood or whatever. It's just about who loves you and who's there for you, who's your family. James Gunn is really good at pulling at the heartstrings, man. As silly as he is, he always brings it back and makes it heartfelt. Unlike Taika Waititi, who tries to do that and he's just fucking annoying. But he managed it in this film, I think. He did go a bit overboard, I think, fully in this film, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And I did hear some rumors that apparently they cut like 25 minutes of stuff from this film, and people were speculating that it's just James Gunn annoying humor that they cut out, which probably is true. Whatever they cut out, it worked, because if it is something that bad, you know, leave that out. Yeah, so I enjoyed the film. It was a weaker Superman. He got beat up a lot, you know. I guess we haven't really seen Superman like that, and I thought it was good. It surprised me. And again, James Gunn, DC, whoever's in charge, fire your marketing team, man, because fucking hell. Because those clips and that did not do justice to what this film actually is, which was a decent film. Well done, James, I like it. I'm curious for the sequel. Oh yeah, Millie Alcock as Supergirl at the end. That looked annoying. I wasn't a fan of that too much, you know. I liked seeing her in her costume and that. She looks the part. I like her, but the way she's acting, I don't know if it's something from the comics maybe. I know he's copying some kind of dark comic story, but it already looks silly with Crypto jumping all over her and she's just going while the Crypto's jumping all over her face and that. And then she's all drunk, and then Clark's talking about how she likes to hang out in another universe, in another planet with the red sun, and it just seemed a bit like crazy. I don't know what Supergirl's going to be like, but I hope it's not too silly, man. Because that introduction to her didn't really want to. I wish she was just a bit more serious. She didn't need to be like completely stoic and boring and Wonder Woman-ish or something like that. But she was a bit silly. I don't know much about Supergirl, so maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me. But anyway, that is my review of James Gunn's Superman. I thought it was good. I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. Out of 5, I'll probably give it like a 3. You know. I thought it was decent, and I think maybe because I had really low expectations for this film, and I think that's what made it so much better. because I had so much low expectations. Maybe if I'd had high expectations, this film probably would have been more trash to me, I think. But I was not expecting this good stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.